All right, let's dive into one of the trickiest, but honestly most rewarding tenses in English, the present perfect. I know, it can seem confusing, but I promise, if you can master this, you're going to take a giant leap closer to sounding like a native speaker. By the end of this, you'll get it.
Okay, first step, let's tackle a classic. This is the one that trips up so many learners. You've probably wondered about it yourself. What on earth is the difference between have been and have gone? They seem so similar, but really, they're worlds apart.
So just take a look at these two sentences. He has been to America, and he has gone to America. They look almost identical, don't they? But that one tiny word, it changes absolutely everything. So what do you think? Do you know the difference?
And here's the secret. If you say, he has been to America, it means he went there and he came back. The trip is over. It's a completed journey. But if you say he has gone to America, it means he's there right now. The journey is still happening. It's that simple, right? Think of it this way. Been is a round trip and gone is a one-way ticket, at least for now.
Now, let's get to the big idea. This is the concept that is going to unlock this entire tense for you. Seriously, you can forget about memorizing 100 different rules. All you need to remember is this one simple metaphor, the past present bridge.
So, what is the present perfect officially? Well, it's basically a tense that does exactly what it says on the tin. It connects the past with the present. It's all about something that happened in the past, but has a real result or connection to what's happening right now. And this little graphic shows exactly what I mean. Just imagine a past action happens over here, and it creates a result in the present, over there. The present perfect is the bridge that connects those two things. So for example, I have lost my keys, that's the past action. The bridge connects it to the present result, which is, I can't get into my house now, see? And how do you actually build this bridge? Well, the formula is incredibly simple. It's just the verb have or has plus the past participle. That's the third form of the verb, like seen, done, or gone. That's it. Okay, so we've got our bridge, we know how to build it, but when do we actually use it? Let's break it down into the 3 most common situations where you're going to need the present perfect. So here are the big 3. First, we use it to talk about our life experiences. Second, for actions that started in the past and are still going on. And third, for recent events that have a clear effect on the present. You can see how all 3 of them are building that bridge from the past to right now, right? So let's kick things off with the first and probably most common use, talking about life experiences. This is when you're telling someone about something you've done in your life, but you're not saying exactly when it happened. And here's a fantastic little trick for sounding supernatural when you're telling a story. First, you open up the topic using the present perfect. You say something like, I've been to Japan. Then, for all the specific details, you switch over to the simple past. I went there last year. The food was incredible. This is exactly how native speakers mix their tenses. Now, for those other 2 uses, unfinished actions and recent events, you'll often see these signal words. Think of this table as your little cheat sheet. We use for when we're talking about a period of time, like 5 years. And we use since when we're talking about a specific starting point, like 2020. Words like yet, already, and just are also huge clues. They all point to a recent past that connects directly to this moment. Okay, let's get into the biggest challenge of all. This is where most people get stuck, knowing when to use the present perfect and when to just use the simple past. But don't worry, we are about to make this crystal clear. So here's the absolute heart of it. It all comes down to one question. Is the time period finished or unfinished? That's it. The present perfect is for unfinished time. Words like today or this week, periods of time that are still happening. The simple past, that's for finished time. Words like yesterday or last week. Those are totally over and done with. Let's look at some examples because this is where the rubber meets the road. You can absolutely say, I've seen John this week because, well, this week isn't over yet. But you cannot say, I've seen John last week. Why not? Because last week is finished. It's completely in the past. So for that, you need the simple past. I saw John last week. Makes sense, right? Now, just when you think you've got it figured out, here's a fun little twist. While British English is pretty strict about these rules, American English is a lot more flexible. As you can see here, an American might casually ask, "Did you eat yet?" using the simple past. A British speaker would almost always say, "Have you eaten yet?"
It's not that one is wrong, it's just a regional thing. And yeah, Americans often reduce this to a super casual, "Did you yet?"
So, with all these little details and regional differences, what's the one thing you absolutely have to remember to get it right most of the time? Let's boil it all down to a single, simple, golden rule. Here it is, your golden rule. Say it with me. If the time is finished, the tense is finished. That's it. If you're talking about yesterday, last year, or 1999, any time that is completely over, the tense is finished too. Just use the simple past. That is the secret. And that pretty much wraps it up. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Now that you know the rules, have a think about your own conversations today. How many times have you already used the present perfect correctly? I bet it's more than you think. Thanks for joining me.